Right, in this quick update review, obviously working on scenery for some battle reports on the channel. I've got the just a standard G-dub scenery 40k scenery kits here. The way I do my scenery, I like to have them as if it's like a proper like action, action pose really. So what I've done here is a standard 40k building. Put it on a bit of like a little bit of plyboard. And then how I've done it is obviously some point in the history of the battlefield where I put this piece of terrain, a drop pod has literally come hurtling through space, hurtling through the atmosphere should I say, and it has come crashing through a building. So obviously this part of the building here, I'll probably better did it from behind, this part of the building here. So yeah, it's obviously come through the atmosphere at a funny angle. The retro boosters to slow it down haven't kicked in properly, and it's come crashing through a building. And you've got some dead marines here, so you've got one there, and you've got one there. Obviously this will be painted, obviously. And you've got some very quick repair works to the building, so not marines but whatever can get around inside the building to help defend it. It's a large building, it's a good place to defend at the time. So this bit will be all obviously painted wooden, or these struts will be wood, or the building will be damaged. A lot of dust there. It's been a while since I've come round to doing it. The reason why I base all my scenery on these bits of small bits of plywood is because pretty much all buildings from all points of all points of history and most points of life come square. So obviously the building would come out here and come across here and be square. Obviously this entire part of the building has just been demolished. The rubble has been moved away, maybe used as barricades elsewhere. But the drop pod is so buried in the ground. There's too much rubble around. They haven't got time. They haven't had time to move it. So they've used wood and struts to get around the building. Use it as a defensible position really. Now when it comes to doing my scenery, like I said, I always like to do it as if it's someone's taking a picture from, I don't know, like a war film or whatever. So I like to base it around like a theme. So this one's obviously had the drop pod smashed through the building. But when it comes into painting and detail, I don't know whether you can see it on here, I've actually drilled out holes for lights. Like I'm going to have some interior lights, and these interior lights actually came through the post today. And all these are is a lovely eBay job, the lovely joy of eBay. They are Christmas fairy lights, 10 Christmas fairy lights, warm white, I think they're classed as. So I'm going to be poking these the LED lights through the holes. I've already, like I've shown you just a minute ago, I've pre-drilled the holes using a 3.2mm drill bit. So obviously the thick one there, but unfortunately they're not wide enough. I've just offered one up just to see if it fits, and unfortunately it doesn't. So it looks like I'm going to be covered in bits of plastic yet again. Much joy for the wife, because she does enjoy seeing random bits of plastic all over the house. So as you can see, let's just so you can see a bit better. This top one here, it doesn't quite fit, so I probably need to widen it by about 2mm. Just a case of plugging the drill in and just ramming it round and cleaning it a bit. Some of them are slightly bigger. Some of the holes, are slightly bigger. I went to town on a little bit more. See, that one doesn't even fit there. Does any of them fit? Not really. So yeah, it's just a case of having to go around and widen them up a bit. Like I've shown you in previous videos, I have done a cathedral that's all lighted up lit up, lighted is not really a word, all lit up stained glass windows. This won't have many stained glass windows in. I may put one or two, obviously one or two around the bottom, like maybe just like half of the window and maybe the corners. Yeah, so maybe just the corners, just to show that it has, has had glass in it at one point or another. I might not put glass in it actually. Obviously, as the drop pod comes smashing in, obviously all the windows would have been shattered out, kind of thing. So I shall move that onto one side. The other one I've been working on, which is this one, much smaller building. The lights for this one, I've actually done them myself. They're just standard. I got them from a train set website, like a train scenery website. Just standard LEDs. They're a warm white colour as well. They've been wired in. Let's see if we can get a better view of the wiring. I might have to go through that door frame. So yeah, all I've done there is I've glued them, like literally glued them to the ceiling so that they don't get in the way, and they come literally around the side to the battery pack. And the battery pack, it's always a pain in the arse, because you've got to try and find a way to hide it, or to blend it in, or however you want to do it. I've done it previously as like an electric generator box. I've done it as a wooden, like makeshift wooden electric box to keep it, hidden and out of the way, out of damage. This one will probably go the same route. So all this is lollipop sticks cut out and drilled and made to look more like a shelter kind of thing. I may actually put a small handle on it here, just so it looks like obviously it would open and close. I've done just a plain bit of plastic card there, so maybe draw a symbol on it, like standard electrical hazard symbol on it. The yellow symbol, black triangle with a lightning bolt in it. I intended on doing it as like an ammo crate. The downside of doing it as an ammo crate is that is a damn big ammo crate. You're probably looking at maybe 2 Marines having to move this. The downside to it being so big is I'm using a 9-volt battery, so obviously that literally fits in there quite snug. So there's a little bit of room there obviously, but I need to put somewhere for the cables to hide as well. So obviously as that fits on top, I then have to kind of fold and ram and twist the wires in there. I have forgot to put a switch on it. I have got little switches to put on the electrics, so I don't have to keep unplugging and plugging in the battery. It is quite a lot of, it's a lot of detail. It's a pain in the arse at times because it slows down the scenery and stuff. But it's just some little things really that make it stand out. I'd love to, I plan on playing a game in the dark with all the buildings lit up. It looked really, quite impressive. Rather than using Photoshop to dim the lights and do the lights of buildings and things like that. It's nice to actually have proper lights that you can visually see. So as you're playing the game, it's like, oh wow, this using your imagination. Obviously, you're like, wow, this could actually happen in the future. What we're doing. So let's just quickly plug the lights in to make sure the electrics do work. So yeah, let's plug them in. Obviously it's quite light in here because it is about 11 o'clock in the afternoon, so the lights are on. How I'll get away with keeping the lights like that, what I intend on doing is obviously covering the lights up with a little bit of electrician's tape, maybe just around the rim, and then just spraying the whole lot so everything gets blacked out. So yeah, so they're the 2 big bits of scatter scenery that I'll be doing. Building scenery that I'll be doing. The scatter bits of scenery, to one side. The scatter bits of scenery that I'll be doing are fences. you know, not that detailed. It just looks a little bit more impressive, really, just to have, you know, rather than the G-dub standard barricade, actually have to you know, to have a proper fence. So I've got one broken fence section, and then I've got a number of just damaged fence sections. So obviously they all link up basically, you know, one next to another to fit together. So obviously I've got that section there, barbed wire on the top. Got some more. I think I managed. I think I had 5. And yeah, even though they slightly overlap on the obviously on the strut there, that's so that they all basically interlink up, so there's no joins and stuff in them. Yeah, this one hasn't got the barbed wire on it. I imagine my 3-year-old son's come in and decided to pull it off and put it in his toy box probably, so I'll probably find that later on when I'm cleaning. So yeah, so I literally want to get these bits done before I start doing some battle reports. Like I say, I've done you know, I've done two big buildings. I've done a couple of scatter bits. I just want to do these 2 buildings and then these scatter bits of scenery before I start doing the battle reports. I've already got a nice lovely gaming mat from gamemats.eu. They do really do nice gaming mats. I'd highly recommend at least checking the website out. They are a bit pricey. I think they're about what, 55, maybe up to 60 euros. So I don't know what that is in pounds or dollars or or whatever the, you know, the currency is where you live. But they are really good quality mats. Compared to the Frontline Gaming fat mats, would I say that they're better? I'd say that they're different, or I don't know whether I'd say that they are better or not. The upside to having the Frontline Gaming fat mats is the fact that they come with a case, which is really nice. Really nice touch for them to come with a case. The downside to the the gamemats.eu ones, is they don't come in a case, which can be a bit annoying, especially when you want to carry them around to a friend's house or opponent's house to play games with. So yeah, that's a quick update. Hopefully I'll let you guys know how I'm getting on with these few bits of scenery. Cheers guys, happy geeking.